Hello, I'm the Irish guy and lads. Back in March 2023, I went through every Premier League club and proudly plumped for one ex-player who your club should bring back immediately. Yeah, as we all know, a lot can change in 18 months. So let's just see whether these ones have aged well. And I'm able to stand by my conviction that you should re-sign this former player now, or if they've actually aged really, really badly. I suspect the latter. Right, let's go.
Arsenal, Serge Gnabry. Gnabry is going to turn 28 years old this summer, and right now he's currently struggling to stay in the Bayern Munich starting 11. Arsenal will be in the Champions League next season, and this man has scored 4 at Tottenham's ground. Chuck him into the Arsenal squad to provide competition for Saka and Martinelli on the wings. Maybe chuck in a £50 million bid.
Yeah, me suggesting that Arsenal should bring back Serge Gnabry, it's not a violently hideous suggestion. It's not like I've just told Mikel Arteta that he should wear a tea cozy on his head and start licking a photo of the Queen. It's not like I've just marched under the set of AFTV and offered Robbie a gerbil sandwich I brought from home. This was not a revolting Gunner suggestion. And Arsenal have actually made a very similar signing. No, they haven't swallowed their pride to bring Gnabry back from Bayern, but they have splashed out on a loan deal for a top winger who is also only 5 months younger than Gnabry. But to be fair, after I made this video, Gnabry did go on to have an absolutely horrible injury-prone season where he only crawled onto the Bundesliga pitch 10 times and only trickled in 3 goals. But come on, Arsenal signed Raheem Sterling instead, so it's not completely alien.
Aston Villa, Adama Traore. And that is going to be a free agent in the summer. And I think if Unai Emery had both Leon Bailey and Traore on the wings, it would make Villa devastating on the counter-attack. I just think picking up Traore for less than the price of a Twix, no-brainer, surely.
What on earth was I thinking? Oh yes, that's exactly what ambitious Aston Villa need. A team hunting down Champions League football. Oh, why not snack on a freebie from Wolves? Bringing back a player who already failed at Villa Park? No, of course not. Instead, a Champions League Villa have brought back a former Villa flop from Luton Town on a free. Far more dignified to shop from that London swamp, right? But no, I think when I made this video, I was still hypnotized by Adama Traore's attributes. Because lads, with his size, build, and utter pace, he should be a complete superstar. Cries about when he signed for Aston Villa the first time around, his manager Tim Sherwood was comparing him to both Messi and Ronaldo. Yeah, Ashley Young was given the same treatment when he was at Villa Park. He's now a nearly 40-year-old Everton right back who's probably only 18 months away from boxing Danny Simpson on the Misfits undercard. And lads, when I made this suggestion, it wasn't long after Traore had been playing for Barcelona on the wing. But no, he's now 28 and can often be found eating protein bars and probably the bones of a sheep while sitting on the Fulham bench. Having him return to Villa would be about as pointless as me asking Alfie off sevens out on a picnic.
Oh, would you like me to feed you custard creams? Bournemouth, Callum Wilson. I know, okay? To the Geordies, the prospect of losing Wilson probably makes them feel like it's demented Tom Hanks. But I just think if Bournemouth survive in the Premier League, then they should stick in a £20 million bid. And I genuinely think he's yours. And Ozzy, the guy who made Dominic Solanke, by comparison, look every inch a drunken giraffe stumbling about the pitch.
You know what? I stand by the suggestion. 18 months later, and this stands up, this 32-year-old Burnley centre forward is right now a forgotten mess after a complete nightmare second half of last season at Newcastle. Don't forget, he began last season on fire for the Magpies. With 7 goals in his first 9 Premier League games, with only 4 of them being starts. He played in a handful of Champions League games, although devastatingly had to sit out the historic 4-1 win over PSG, which must have been heartbreaking. Arguably the greatest night in the club's history. And this fella was too busy clutching a wobbly hamstring in the stands. For a guy who joined Newcastle when they were an ugly, wretched, relegation battling team marshalled by a Steve Bruce who constantly had ketchup dribbling down his chin. Trust me lads, there's soon going to be a severe shortage of donuts in Blackpool. But Wilson, of all people, he deserved to take part in that PSG match. But listen, Wilson would have been a quality re-signing for Bournemouth. Although in January, he had both AC Milan and Atletico Madrid sniffing around. So maybe his own ego would actually prevent him from moving back to the sleepy seaside, where even the seagulls look bored. But still, I stand by this one.
Brentford, John Egan. So why not target John Egan? Sure, I know he's 30 years old, but this Cork man is an absolute defensive rock for Sheffield United in the Championship. Brentford's backline are mostly in their 30s anyway, so bring in another experienced centre half who knows how to play in a back 3. And considering he's only got a year left in his deal, you'd probably bring him back to the club for about 12 million quid. Honestly, do it. It just makes sense.
Does it? Does it make sense? After I made this video, Ireland international centre-back John Egan broke himself. Last season could not have gone worse. The guy played in 6 of Sheffield United's first 7 league games. He was on the losing side 5 times. His last game at Bramall Lane was playing the full 90 minutes in an 8-0 loss before breaking his foot at West Ham the following week, ending his season in September, forcing the Blades captain to helplessly watch his teammates get bullied off the park every single week. Honestly, be given a season ticket to watch that mess. It was probably like being given a front row seat to watching your grandparents eating chocolate cake off each other's stomachs. Yuck. Funnily enough, the Bees actually did sign an Irish centre back after I made that video, but it was paying £23 million to Burnley for Nathan Collins, a Burnley team who ironically just signed Egan on a free. Boy, did I get this one woefully wrong.
Brighton, Marc Cucurella. Marc Cucurella is absolutely stinking up the place at Stamford Bridge. Time is already up for Cucurella, who's been a massive £60 million flop, but the guy's only 24. Surely, this summer, Brighton, if you just ask to take him back on loan next season and pay his fat expensive wages before promising to maybe make the move permanent for 30 million quid the following year, then honestly, no brainer to me.
Oh no. Look, Brighton should have listened, because a year ago, Marc Cucurella was written off as an absolute cheese-wet vomit sandwich at Stamford Bridge. A £60 million mess of a Chelsea left-back. Well, last season, he slowly and quietly turned his form around. It's just nobody noticed because Chelsea were still mostly poor. In fact, Cucurella alone managed to show up Gary Neville's ignorance. Yeah, this £1 million a year pundit expert proudly telling the world that Cucurella was Spain's weak link at the Euros. The same Neville who at the last World Cup told everyone on match day 1 that nobody was scared of Messi anymore. Yeah, Cucurella has since won the Euros with Spain, firmly established himself as Chelsea's first choice left back, to such a point that Ben Chilwell might as well spend the next 4 months building sandcastles at the beach. Honestly, after failing to get his Turkish escape, the poor fella might as well start eating cheeseburgers with every meal. It ain't gonna matter, Ben.
Chelsea, Tammy, Abraham. If the hideous Graham Potter is still in charge next summer, well, he was once able to get a tune out of Danny Welbeck, so give him another beanpole striker with a point to prove, and I think Tammy would score goals. And lads, especially if Jose Mourinho is the Chelsea manager again, just let him bring Tammy back. Just makes sense.
Nah. Look, Chelsea do need a number 9, sure. And it's weird how both of their marquee, high-profile summer targets now play in Saudi and Turkey instead. Look, Tammy Abraham just had an injury-riddled season at Roma, yes, scoring once, and now inexplicably has been loaned out to AC Milan, joining Crespo, Shevchenko, Torres, Barini, Pato, Morata, Giroud, and Higuain in the long list of strikers who played for both AC Milan and Chelsea. But again, nah. I don't even think this guy is better than Nicholas Jackson anymore, so this would have been a waste of time. I was wrong.
Crystal Palace Jose Fonte. Fonte is a man who just defies logic. The guy turns 40 in December, and yet still plays for Lille in League 1 every single week. I get it. He's old, but I just think he could be the perfect experienced foil for Marc Guehi in the centre of the Palace defence.
40 years of age. Nonsense. Because this veteran Portugal centre-back has been on the move twice since I made this video. Sure, he joined Braga last summer, quickly lost his place in the starting 11 after his age was laughably exposed in the 5-0 defeat at Sporting Lisbon. He was rarely seen in the starting 11 again. So if that man was deemed to be too old for the Primeira Liga, then in the actual Premier League, oh, he would have been eaten on toast. He's just joined a Portuguese team called Kasper, where he's joined in defence by Ruben Kluivert, another one of Patrick's kids. Don't get me wrong, Fonte is doing brilliantly for his age. He's going to be 41 years of age at Christmas and will still be playing in the Portuguese top flight. But Crystal Palace, no, what was I thinking?
Everton, Ademola, Lookman. This would be an ambitious deal for Sean Dyche, but providing you stay up, chuck in a £30 million bid for Lookman, which is 3 times what Atalanta paid for the guy, and suddenly this former teenage bench warmer suddenly becomes the most dangerous attacking threat by a country mile.
Can you imagine if Ademola Lookman had taken my advice and crawled back to Everton last summer, taking part in this sluggish, mediocre Sean Dyche project and sacrificing his dream season where he literally scored a hat-trick in the Europa League final? The bloke made double in his own private play pen, literally the best moment of his life. And yes, 17 goals last season for Atalanta was unbelievably sweet. So yeah, of course the toffees were taken back. Dyche should probably yank out every single one of his teeth with a spoon to guarantee this move. No more steak dinners for Dyche, oh no, just sloppily swallowing mashed up bananas and ready break. But no lads, that European final masterclass once again put Lookman on the map. He didn't get a summer move, no, but he had both Arsenal and PSG sniffing around in a £42 million swoop. Seeing him back in an Everton shirt, nah, there is more chance of seeing Simon Cowell kissing a duck.
Fulham, Chris Smalling. Surely the guy's got unfinished business at Craven Cottage, so if Fulham can get back into Europe for next season, oh then surely it's going to tempt Chris, so he can finally get a crack at a Europa League run in a Fulham shirt, and you can get him on a free transfer. It'll be signing of the season.
I'm very confused by Chris Smalling's career. A year ago, this guy looked like he was all set to quit Roma for either Juventus or Inter Milan, having become an absolutely respected and revered European quality centre-back in Serie A. Honestly, during his 10 years at Old Trafford, most people spoke about him as if he was some character of Sesame Street. I don't think Smalling ever had much respect while in a Manchester United shirt, but over in Italy, this guy was seen as some sort of British gladiator. But let's be real, he turns 35 in November. He's probably not got the legs left for the Premier League, and also last season was a complete waste of time as he missed 20 league matches in a row due to tendinitis. He only started 4 Serie A matches all season long. He was benched for the first 3 games of this season and has chosen to quit in a sulk, scrambling himself a September move to Saudi team Al Fayha. Yeah, he's probably not Fulham standard anymore.
Leeds, Ross Barkley. Yeah, I know. this is weird, but rescue him from the croissants and art museums in France, where he's probably just a homesick man who hates drinking wine at lunch. Bring him back to Ellen Road, where he can actually communicate with his teammates, and yeah, it'll probably be in the Championship next season, but I think that could kickstart his career.
To be fair, Ross Barkley didn't join Leeds, no, but he did join the team who replaced Leeds in the Prem, and he did brilliantly for Luton Town in midfield, and now plays in the Champions League with Aston Villa. I was right not to give up on him when he was this sweaty potato grimacing at a plate of frog's legs in France and trying to work out what on earth a croissant was. It ain't an alien, Ross. Just eat the bloody thing.
Leicester, Kasper, Schmeichel. No brainer. Stick it in. £2.5 million bid. And he's probably yours. And honestly, don't let him go until he's 40 at least.
You know what? No, I don't think this one would have worked out last summer, actually, because Enzo Maresca came into Leicester City, one of these new breed of fancy coaches who are very particular about their goalkeepers. And yes, it seems weird to think that Matt Hermansen was a better fit for them in the Championship, considering he has 0 Debar caps, while Schmeichel has 107. But lads, because of the distribution, Maresca loved Hermansen and tried to bring him to Chelsea too. I don't remember him sniffing around Anderlecht for Schmeichel on a free, who's now at Celtic, so no, I don't think this suggestion would have worked either.
Liverpool, Danny Ings. Okay, who? Who else is there? There are no ex-Liverpool players who this club should resign. So I don't know, this summer, Danny Ings would have 2 years left in his West Ham deal, and he knows where the back of the net is. I guess he'd be a good bench-warming option for Darwin Núñez. I don't know. 18 million would probably convince West Ham to sell after just 4 months. He's the best of the ex-players, but I don't know. There's not much else.
Danny Ings. Danny Ings. Danny Ings. What? Do you know how many Premier League goals this man scored for West Ham last season? 1. And it was 2 the season before. Ings is one of the most dramatic examples of a once peak striker who's completely shriveled up into a raisin overnight. I'm shocked Julian Lopetegui has even kept him at West Ham. The guy is the 3rd best paid player on £125,000 a week wages, which is an absolute joke. To put it in context, this 32-year-old gingerbread man, he gets paid more money than Alexander Isak, who is on another planet to him in every facet of the game. He only earns £5,000 a week less than Cole Palmer, who last season was arguably the best player in the league. Me suggesting that the Reds re-sign him with an £18 million transfer fee. He'd have cost more than Chiesa.
Man City, Leroy Sane. Lads, his contract is up in 2 years. I think a £60 million bid would bring Sane back to the Etihad.
Yeah, the suggestion wasn't all that woeful. Man City have since added 2 wingers to their squad in Jeremy Doku and Savinho. Both speedy street ballers with magic feet. Very similar players to Leroy Sane, so again, yeah, I think the German would have been a quality re-signing if Pep had chosen to do that.
Man United, Memphis Depay. The answer is always going to be Memphis Depay. Surely this is a deal that makes sense. I know he's 29, and I know he was a Manchester United flop on the wing, but he's now a Dutch centre forward, which Erik ten Hag clearly loves. Honestly, this is just a sensible, cheap move.
Yeah, I said that Manchester United should re-sign Memphis Depay after he had just quit Barcelona for Atletico Madrid. Yeah, he turned out to be about as exciting as a banana muffin in the Spanish capital. A really meek return of 5 league goals last season. I suggested that he'd be a quick short-term fix at Old Trafford, and lads, he's only 30, is still floating around the Netherlands squad, but he seems to have been blacklisted by European clubs because he was a free agent this summer and nobody wanted to know. He's just joined Corinthians in Brazil. Listen, they are an absolute giant of a football club, and for a player with his exquisite samba flair, oh, he will fit perfectly in there. It is such a snug fit, the carefree swag this guy plays with. If I didn't know he was Dutch, I'd have guessed he was from Brazil, as he's always been like a mini Neymar on and off the pitch. But to be fair, it was more sensible for Man United to turn to the future with a move for 23-year-old Joshua Zirkzee from Bolton instead of dragging a chunk of rubbish back they had under Louis van Gaal. But lads, don't act all high and snooty as if you're better than this, because this was a club who 6 months before I made the suggestion were sniffing around Marc Arnautovic on a short-term deal, and then they signed Wout Weghorst, a Burnley lump who can now be found eating crisps in Amsterdam with Jordan Henderson. So I don't think this suggestion was all that woeful.
Newcastle, Ivan Toney. Okay, if Newcastle are prepared to move on Callum Wilson, then why not go and chuck a fat £50 million at Brentford for Ivan Toney? He's only got 2 years left in his deal. Oh, Toney, go get your bag.
Yeah, nah. Listen, to be fair, Ivan Toney's ego is too big to sit on the Newcastle bench. I mean, signing him would have meant forcing Isak to the left wing, which would steal Anthony Gordon's spot, who is arguably the club's best player last season. So I guess, technically, yeah, this one wouldn't really have worked, because after 3 months, Toney would have been bursting into Howe's office to moan like a pregnant banshee. Although actually, 2 months after I made this video, he was banned for 9 months. So no, this would have been a disaster.
Nottingham Forest, Ben Brereton Diaz. Just bring Ben Brereton Diaz back to the club. And he's only 23. and is available on a free in the summer.
Yeah, this wasn't a terrible suggestion. It's mad. Ben Brereton Diaz has had 3 new clubs since I made this video. When I suggested it, this Chile international was a Blackburn Rovers goal machine in the championship. Inside the last 18 months, he's since joined Villarreal, then Sheffield United on loan, and now permanently moved to Southampton. Whilst Rovers have since sold his replacement to Ipswich after he won the championship golden boot. A lot has happened since I suggested Diaz go to Forest. He does still have an eye for goal in the Prem, so yeah, Forest should have listened to me.
Southampton, Michael Obafemi. Southampton are going down. That's all there is to it. Obafemi has got talent. He's got 15 championship goals this season. Bring him back to the club for 10 million quid in June and build a team around him. Again, no brainer.
No. I know Southampton need goals, but no. Poor old Michael Obafemi's career has gone off the rails. When I made this video, he was a Swansea centre forward. He has since joined Burnley on a permanent deal. He played just 18 minutes in the Premier League last season, then joined Millwall on loan where he only scored twice, and is now on loan at Plymouth where he doesn't even get in Rooney's team. Oh yeah, and he no longer gets picked for the Ireland squad. Oh, this was a hopeless suggestion.
Tottenham, Pierluigi Golini. I think bring Pierluigi Golini back. Bring this former Manchester United goalkeeper, don't forget, back to Spurs, this time on a permanent deal to definitely replace Fraser Forster, but to actually challenge the wobbly Hugo Lloris now.
Funnily enough, Spurs did go out there and sign an Italian goalie in the summer. It's just, it was Guglielmo Vicario, not Pierluigi Golini, who's still an unwanted cardboard box at Atalanta. He was loaned out to Napoli last season and mostly stood on the bench, and is now on loan at Genoa, where he's doing the same thing, so nah.
West Ham, Josh Cullen. Yeah, he's a 26-year-old midfield superstar for Burnley under Vincent Kompany. After a £3 million move from Anderlecht in the summer, and once Declan Rice leaves this summer, why not chuck in a £15 million bid for a guy who spent 15 years of his life at West Ham?
Burnley superstar? Josh Cullen had a horrible season in Burnley's midfield, where he was dropped for the middle chunk of the season after Vincent Kompany clearly decided that he was having all the impact of a garden gnome. What on earth would have been the point of asking him to be Paqueta's midfield partner? Thankfully, the Hammers did not listen to me. Cullen wouldn't even make their bench.
Wolves, Matt Doherty. Yeah, why not? Nelson Semedo's contract is up in the summer, and Matt Doherty only has a deal at Atletico Madrid until May. But it sort of just shows that Diego Simeone has zero faith in the Dubliner. Semedo is probably taking his job at Atletico in June. So yeah, bring an experienced Doherty back to Wolves, so he can add Julian Lopetegui to his list of superstar coaches.
Yes! Saving the best until last, yes! Wolves did listen to me and brought Matt Doherty back from Atletico Madrid. So in a horrible list of other nonsensical shouts, at least the last one actually came true. Thank you, Wolves! Anyway, that's it. Let me know, what do you think? Where did I go wrong? Probably a lot of places. Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. As always, I'll talk shit a while.